everybody, and welcome back to the Girly Girl Bookworm. Can you believe we are almost halfway through the year already? I simply cannot. I don't know where this year went. I thought this year was going to go nice and slow, and then quarantine hit, and just time is time. It goes slow one minute, it goes fast the next. I can't keep up. But I've seen that people have started posting their mid-year freakout tags, so I figured might as well film mine too. So this tag is a tag that's been going on for quite a few years. I think I've only actually done it once, which is insane. I've been filming videos for 8 years as of September. How crazy is that, by the way? 8 years. A lot of you have been here with me since I was 22 years old. No, I wasn't even 22. I was 21, turning 22 in a few weeks when I first started my channel. And I'm gonna be 30 this year. What? Okay, that's not what the point of this video is, but insane. Just insane. Okay. So this is a tag video that we always do in the middle of the year, just to do a check-in, see how we're doing, and yeah, let's just dive in. So this year so far, today is June 12th, I have read 73 books. 73. My goal for the year was 100, because I go back to teaching in September, and I was like, you know what, with a baby, things are going to be so crazy, but they really haven't been. I don't know if it's partially because Patrick's been home teaching from home or what, but I still managed to fit 73 in so far. So I'm not going to complain because this girl got a big TBR. So yeah, the very first question is, what is the best book that you have read in 2020? And I have read some really great ones, and I didn't want to make this video where I had 30 options for every answer, so I tried to stick to one, and it was really hard, but I chose Home Before Dark by Riley Sager. This is my most anticipated read for the first half of the year, especially when we found out it was coming out early. And I literally devoured this the day it came in the mail. I put everything to the side and went, honey, we're watching Sydney. I am reading this book. And I devoured it. And it was phenomenal. And I love Riley Sager. He is a god. So this was my best book so far this year. Best sequel. Now this one was tough because I made a video about all the series I still needed to finish. And I think I've read 2 sequels. So I better get on that the second half of the year. But my favorite one is Old Fashioned by Candy Steiner. This is the 4th and the final book in the Becker Brothers series. They can be read as standalones, but I like to read them in order because they do obviously connect. Each book follows a brother, and this is about Jordan, and I loved Jordan's story so much. He reminded me of my husband, and I can't speak highly enough. I read the first book, and every book after that, I was like, nothing lives up to Noah. No one lives up to Noah. No one lives up to Noah. And then I met Jordan, and I was like, never mind, hands down, Jordan wins. So yes, this is my favorite sequel for the year. Then a new release that I haven't read yet that I would like to. I've been actually doing pretty decent job of reading any of the books that I've pre-ordered. I still have to get to the ones from May, but one of the ones that I did pre-order in May that I haven't gotten to yet is Carolina Breeze by Denise Hunter. This is a sequel, so that would help in the Bluebell Inn series. I thought this was going to be one that I'd pick up immediately and devour, and I just haven't had a chance to yet, but hopefully I'll be able to get to it soon. It does have a signed book plate in it, which makes me scared to read it because I don't want to destroy it by accident, but this is one that needs to be read pretty ASAP. Then my most anticipated reads for the second half of the year, and I have 2. One of them is One by One by Ruth Ware. I read all of Ruth Ware's books, so I have been dying for this to come out. It comes out in September. I have seen ARCs starting to float around, and I'm like, do I try to request one? Because I don't know who's open still yet with quarantine. But I'm like, but I'm still going to want the hardcover, so I don't know what I'm going to do with that one. Probably wouldn't get it even if I requested it, but that one I'm really excited about. And The End of Her by Sherry LaPena. I love her last book, and I loved The Couple Next Door. So, like, I am dying to see what she comes out with next. I want to say this comes out in July, but I feel like I haven't seen a cover, so I don't know if I'm telling the truth or not. But I know it comes out this year. Cannot wait. Oh, I just thought of another one. Her Majesty by Catherine McGee. That one comes out in September too. So excited for that one. So 3 that I am like pumped for. Ooh, and Troubles in Paradise by Ellen Hildebrand. There's too many. 2020 has been a phenomenal release year. That's all I'm going to say. Biggest disappointment. Now, I know I've read some 1-star reads. I've read some other ones that weren't getting the best of reviews, but I figured I wanted to pick one that like I was really, really excited for, and then it fell flat for me. And that, unfortunately, was 8 Perfect Murders by Peter Swanson. It was just really dull compared to what I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be like an Agatha Christie novel, and it just didn't come off that way for me. It felt very formulaic and I'm just going to talk at you kind of book, and it spoiled more books than I thought it was going to spoil. I knew it was going to spoil 8 books, but it ended up spoiling more than that, and it unfortunately was a huge disappointment. I still gave it 3 stars, but I thought that this book was going to be like a 5-star read, so that was pretty disappointing for me. Biggest surprise. Now, I've got 2. One is Untamed by Glennon Doyle. I saw this book get chosen for Reese's book club, and I was like, do I want to read that? Do I? I probably won't like it. It's nonfiction. I don't even know who Glennon Doyle is. I'm not going to like this. And I actually really enjoyed my reading experience of this one. Like, I wish I had a highlighter out when I was reading this one, because there are so many good things to be taken out of the story. Well, not story. Nonfiction, this book, Glennon's story. There's still some things that I definitely don't agree with that she said, but there's a lot of things that I still was able to walk away with. So, definitely a book that really pleasantly surprised me, because I was expecting to really like get through 10 pages and be like, enough. So I'm glad that I ended up really liking that one. And the other surprise for me was House of Salt and Sorrows by Erin A. Craig, because I'm not the biggest fantasy reader, and I'm not the biggest like YA fan anymore. I've like kind of slowly started coming back into it, but really like this one took me by surprise, because I had heard kind of mixed things about it, and then I literally gave it 4.5 stars, almost 5 stars. It was like this close to a 5-star, so it definitely surprised me, made me want to pick up more by this author and more fantasy. So this was definitely a really good surprising read for me. Then, new author. I feel like I could have picked a couple different people for this one, but I decided just to go with Lucy Foley, who wrote the guest list. I do have The Hunting Party, so I will be able to put this book up to the challenge, because if I do not read The Hunting Party by the end of the year, I will be shocked. So I'm really curious at the end of the year if I still think that she's like my favorite, because I'm going to read The Hunting Party and see if I still like her after that. And then, newest crush. Now, this is always difficult because I don't get crushes on characters. And I feel like I change my answer for this every time. So, like, I've said the guy from Baking with a Rock Star. I've said Jordan from Old Fashioned. And I was like, well, I've always said those two. I need to pick somebody different. So, basically, I'm picking someone different. I don't know. Picking Jonah from The Simple Wild by K.A. Tucker, because he was a really stand-up guy, and to be able to stand up with her through going through her father's sickness, and just, he was a good guy. I liked him. He's crush-worthy if I got crushes on characters. And then the next one was favorite character, and I don't know. Again, I resonate with characters while I'm reading them, but then back in the day, it was like, oh, Katniss is my favorite, or Peeta is my favorite, or Hermione is my favorite, because you had an entire series to really, like, love them and get to know them. And most of the series I read now tend to be companion novels. So, like, I meet them once and I see them again throughout books, but I don't necessarily get to know them throughout multiple books. So it's a little bit harder for me to choose a favorite character per se, just because I don't see them time after time after time, so I'm not like reminded of like, oh, they're so good, they're my favorite. But I figured this character really stood out this half of the year, and I picked Una from Una Out of Order by Margarita Montemor. Una was a really interesting character to follow because she jumps around through her timeline. Every New Year's, she wakes up in a new body. Well, not new body. Still her body, but a new age. So sometimes she'll wake up and she'll be 54, and then she'll wake up on New Year's and she'll be 22, and then the next year she'll be 42. You never know she doesn't know the year she's going to wake up in. And I just found it really interesting to watch her come to terms with this happening, learning about her life and the meaning of life. And I don't know, I really liked this one. So I'm going to go with Una because this was a true personal, like, character study, it felt like. So I feel like this was one that was truly like getting to know a character versus the plot point. So I'm gonna go with Una. And then book that made you cry. Now, I'm a big crybaby. I normally, like, if a book makes me cry, I give it like 5 stars. You know what I mean? Like, I love a good cry. And this year, these two did me in. What He Doesn't Know and What He Always Knew by Candy Steiner. I should probably go the other way because this is book 1. This is book 2. And I cried. And I cried. And I cried some more. These books were so heartbreaking. We are following our main character, and she's in this marriage, and it's just kind of not what she thought it was going to be. And she, one of her, like, childhood crushes moves back into town, and it's kind of a love triangle between her husband and this other guy. And normally I don't condone cheating. I mean, I don't condone cheating. It's not normal. I don't really love cheating in books, but this just felt so different and so raw. And I mean, she ends up with who I wanted her to end up with, so that was kind of a plus. But, like, I would cry, and then I would stop crying, and then, like, 2 pages later, I'd be crying again. So if you were looking for an emotional story, I highly recommend this duology. There is a third book that is about the guy she doesn't choose. And I haven't picked that one up yet, but these two. A book that just made you happy, and I feel like there's been a couple of them this year, but I just figured I would pick one that I've read recently, and that was My Favorite Souvenir by Penelope Ward and Vi Keeland. This one was really, really good. It was just a book that just, like, made me happy. So much so that, like, I read this through Kindle Unlimited and then had to purchase myself a copy because I wanted it on my shelf. This is a book that, like, felt like a vacation. It looks like a summer vacation. It's not a summer vacation, but it just felt exactly what I needed right at the right moment. A nice little travel novel. It just made me happy. A beautiful book. So this one I picked 2 because I recently hauled 2 books that are stunning. Actually, I can show you something else too. So one of them is With Fire and High by Elizabeth Acevedo. I've been wanting this book since it came out, and I don't know why it took me this long to get it, because it is beautiful. Beautiful. Publishers take notice. Like, this is what beautiful means. Beautiful. Got it? Beautiful. And then the other one that I thought was just really intriguing looking, and that is The Never Tilting World by Rin Chapeko. This one is really stunning. I just was looking up, and I just saw something. The Woven in Moonlight. Stunning. The other one that I was like, oh, I'll grab that I grabbed this half of the year is I grabbed the Puffin novels, which are gorgeous as well. So I'm not going to take them out, but these I got this year so far, and they're beautiful. And then the last question is a book that you would like to read by the end of the year. And honestly, ta-da! any of my unread books. These are not all unread. I don't know why I just made it look like that. But any of the books that are on my shelf currently that I have not read, I would love to say all of them. But I think the one that I most would really, 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 really like to read by the end of the year is this baby, Gone with the Wind. It's gotten a little hate recently. The movie has been taken off of HBO because of its being racist, but it also takes place during the Civil War, which is probably the most, and the Reconstruction after the Civil War, which is probably the most racist America has ever been. So I feel like I need to read it, and I bought it this year, and I feel like if I don't read it this year, who knows when it's going to get read. So this is probably the one that, like, I would love to read before the year is over. But yeah, that is the mid-year freakout tag. Please let me know if you've done this video down below. I would love to check it out. This is just a tag that is super fun to do and check in and see where we're at for the year, and I cannot wait to see what the second half of the year brings. It'll be very interesting, that's for sure, with going back to work, and it'll be insane, but it'll be fun. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys really, really soon. Bye, everybody.